So today's the day I set off across the English Channel and head to the Channel Islands. So I got up earlier than normal and double checked everything, and I made sure the boat was ready to leave, and I had one last look at the weather. I usually check on several different apps just to see what they all say, and I also check the forecast on the VHF radio. And I usually leave the VHF radio on while I'm underway, and then every so many hours there's a weather forecast and I listen to that. And everything looked good, so I set off. Now, I wanted to set off a little bit earlier than I did, but I had to fill up with diesel at the fuel barge, and that doesn't open till 8:30 in the morning. So I had to leave a little bit later than I planned. And I also wanted to fill up an extra 20-litre container with diesel just in case of emergencies. So I got there just before 8:30, and the guy opened and I was first there to get served, so I topped up the boat and got some extra diesel and set off. So as soon as I was clear of the harbour limits, I hoisted up the sails and I got wind straight away, which was brilliant, so I was off to a good start. I decided to head for Alderney, which is the most northwest of the inhabited Channel Islands. Alderney is approximately 70 nautical miles from my mooring in Dartmouth, so I wanted to get to Bray Harbour if I could, preferably before it got dark. So I knew that I'd have to maintain a good speed to achieve that, but I was really happy with the start I'd got. And as you can see here down on my B&G chart plotter, I'm doing between sort of 6 and almost up to 7 knots at points. So 6 knots for me is a great speed. So I was really happy with the start that I got. Sorry about the wind. So I'm not quite halfway across the English Channel at the moment. I'm heading for the Channel Islands. So far we've made good time. For this boat anyway. I left it 9:01. Put the sails up at about 9:30, and we've been doing between 5 and 6 knots, which for this boat is excellent, and that's due to the new anti-foul that I put on it, the silicone anti-foul, and just having a clean bottom really helps. 6/4, 5 to 6 knots here, and for me that's, well, it's changing. It makes a huge difference to sailing and the sailing time. You know, the difference between me sailing to the Channel Islands in a day and getting there before night, you know, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and getting there before dark, on which I'm hopefully just going to be able to do on this boat, is pretty good. So I got to deal with a few things when we get into Alderney, checking in and anchoring and finding somewhere to stay, and I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, I'm not quite halfway there yet, but there's no sign of land, and obviously I'm coming into the traffic separation zone soon, so I've already been watching out for tankers. Obviously you've got to keep an eye out, because you don't want to run into one of them, because that's going to really ruin your day. For me, this is a very good speed. We've got nice 13, 14, 15 knots, pretty much on the beam at the moment, which is lovely, and then just pretty flat seas for the middle of the channel. So awesome, well happy. Just had a very quick visit from some dolphins. They just came in, said woohoo, hello, and then off again before I could get the camera out, but that's good luck. Wish they'd hang around a little bit more. I could have got a bit of video, but there you go. It's good to see them anyway. Someone fishing off in the distance. So I've just sat here and I thought, little question. At the moment I've just got the Genoa and the mainsail up. Now, in theory, adding more sail should add to my speed. So if I put my staysail up, in theory I should have more sail out, so that should make me go faster. And I'm not sure that it will. So maybe a little experiment I'll try later and see whether it does increase my speed or not. At the moment I don't want to do anything because I'm like kind of doing 5-6 knots. Yeah, 6 knots at the moment I'm doing, so that's a great speed for me, so I don't really want to mess anything up, but it is interesting to think, oh, if I put a bit more staysail up, will it give me a little bit more speed? I'm not sure that it will. It might give me more stability. Anyway, I'll think about it. Well, I managed to cross over the English Channel yesterday, and now I'm in Bray Harbour in Alderney. So I'm gonna check in and then have a look around and have a walk about Alderney and check it out. It's been a few years since I've been here, and I have been here a few times. But never on my boat before. So now I'm just going to, I came in last night, and at the moment I'm sort of sat in the middle of the channel because it was pitch black when I came in last night, so I just dropped my anchor about 11 o'clock and got a few hours sleep, and now I'm just going to find somewhere else to anchor or pick up a mooring buoy and have a look around. Exciting. So this is Bray Harbour in Alderney, and I came in the dark about 11 o'clock at night, and it was pitch black coming in, so I had to use the lighthouse to get in, and the chart plotter and some maps, and then I just dropped my anchor because I was quite tired, so I just dropped the anchor in the middle of the channel. And those guys over there, they're the Port Authority guys in that little dinghy, and they came round to see me in the morning on the boat and asked me a few questions, asked where I'd come from and asked how many people were travelling with me, and they gave me a form to fill out and obviously charged me for anchoring. Now if you want to anchor in Bray Harbour, it's only £5 a night, which is great. Or those yellow buoys over there in front of the Admiralty wall are yellow visitors buoys, and you can pick one of those up for £20 a night. But I decided to go for the cheap option and anchor, and that's where I'm anchored there on Rebecca. But it was a bit rolly, so I decided to move it later on a bit closer to this boat, which I'd just seen in Dartmouth a couple of days before actually. But where I was out there, you can see it was a bit rolly to start with, so I needed to move. But then I headed on into Alderney to have an explore and to have a walk round the island, and obviously do a bit of shopping and pick up some food, and of course visit the pub. That's the museum there in Alderney. Now Alderney's only about 3 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, so you can actually walk round the whole island easily in a day. And that there is my Port Authority paperwork, which I filled out, and then part of that I put in through the box that they have in the harbour office, and then that's where you leave the copy and they pick it up from there. That there is Brae Chippy, which is my favourite fish and chip shop in the whole wide world. But unfortunately it's only open Thursday, Friday and Saturday from 5 till 8, I think. So I'm not going to be able to have any fish and chips. Very sad. I decided to have a look round this market down here, which is one of the arts and crafts markets, and this lady was selling her art on bits of driftwood, and I particularly like the octopus, but it was a bit expensive for me, a few £100, and I couldn't afford it. There's also a golf course on Alderney, so if you fancy a game of golf you can do that, and there's plenty of water sports. But I found a good weather window and I decided to head back to England. And on the way back I saw this little boat. When I started off under motor, and I saw this little guy in a boat, and I think he must have been heading to France. Just had a few dolphins around the boat, but no sooner had they come and they just disappeared. I saw them coming towards the boat, I saw the fins coming up, and then they played around the boat for a few minutes, but then they just disappeared, so I don't know where they are. They just went, said hello and went, wished me on my way. Well, it's always good luck, so I don't mind that. And now I'm just entering the traffic separation zone, which means there's tankers coming through this channel, so I'm trying to keep an eye out, but the visibility is quite low, which is worrying, so I've turned the radar on inside, and I'm just keeping a watchful eye on that, but as you can see the visibility is very low now. That's just a couple of miles, so just hope the tanker drivers are keeping a watchful eye out and have got their radars on and their AIS, although I haven't got AIS, so there you go. Oh, there's a buoy coming up ahead, so. Is that a buoy or is that a seagull? That's a gannet. During the first part of the journey heading back, I had no wind at all, so I motor sailed for an hour or so. I wanted to get away from the island a bit as well, because what you've got to be really careful around the Channel Islands are the currents. Luckily, in one of my pilot books, I had the tidal streams on the charts there, and you really want to check them, otherwise you can be going backwards. They do get particularly strong, so bear that in mind. But that's all I got time for in this part 1 of Crossing the Channel. If you liked it, please press like and subscribe, and get ready for, in a couple of weeks, part 2, and see what happens when the fog comes in on my way back. Thanks everyone, bye.